And I think we're live. Can someone tell me if there is audio? I haven't done this many times before, so there's a good chance I'm going to screw this up, so hold with me. I'm a little bit all over the place right this minute. Just came back from the dentist and sort of just tried to get this all set up as quick as possible. So just give me a moment while I just make sure that everything is sort of working and in place, and then we'll get answering a whole bunch of questions. So let's see. Hey, awesome. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. Yes, audio working, audio good. Awesome. Right. So the plan for me today is to answer all of your guys' questions. I've got some from the Q&A live stream channel, and we're going to have this nice live feed as well. And the plan is to basically change all the snaps on here. Now, I have done a silly, which is I haven't even gone to get the drill for this, but I've printed everything out. So yeah, so let's get to it. Let's first answer some questions. Let's go for it. Feel free to leave questions. The best place, by the way, is going to be, might be a touch too high. Oh, is this one too bright? Is it? Hold on. Let's check some. Let's check things. How's this one? The closer up one, because this is going to be the close-up camera for you guys. And yeah, so I haven't got the drill yet because I'm going to take everything off here with you guys, and then we're going to change everything up. And yeah, so PETG versus PLA. Awesome. Well, let's just sit down. Let's actually have a chat, because I think that's going to be the best bet. Yeah, let's have a chat. You and me. Let's chat here. So PETG and PLA. I can tell you right now that I'm a bit of a PLA fanboy. I haven't had a problem with PLA. Now, the real tricky thing here is that I've always used engineering PLA, and I've always used PLA Plus, and I live in Scotland, so I don't have to deal with anything hot. So if you live in a hotter place, or you're planning on putting some sort of PLA thing close to some caustic environment, I have no idea what that would be, then yeah, probably best to go with PETG. But from what I've heard, because I can't say that I've done it myself, PLA is pretty much just as strong, except it just breaks. It'll just snap. PETG, from what I'm aware, is a bit more like ABS in the sense that it's going to give more. It's sort of like, think of it more like a tar. And then PLA is more sort of like a bamboo stick. They're both pretty strong, but one will give slowly, the other one will just straight up snap. Now, for myself, I am all about PLA, and if you haven't seen, I've put the massive 16 kilo weight on my filament holder, and I haven't had any problems there in all of my testing as well. By the way, if you're wondering how I do my strength test, I use these little pegboard metal hooks, and I literally, you'll see it. Oi. I have this little metal clamped wire here, and I hang this on a multiboard. So that's why I know multiboards are strong, because I've really gone through it. Okay, so that's PLA and PETG. Let's see, what else do we have here? Built a multiboard for my daughter earlier last week. Love it. I came across multiboard last week. Definitely going to dust off a 3D printer. Awesome. I'm going to jump into the Q&A channel now. I'm going to whack you onto the other camera, even though it is a bit too bright. So let's go for it. Is it this one? I don't know which buttons I'm pressing. It does things, and then we'll figure it out. Oh, it looks like, oh, I'm flicking back and forth. There we go. So let's go to, oh, I've lost my mouse as well. Okay, here we go, Q&A. So the first one here, I understand the concept around multiboard. The YouTube videos clearly explain the concept. I'm having trouble understanding the multi-grid system and how the bin to multi-grid works. Please provide some video examples. Okay, that's not really a Q&A live stream, but I'm more than happy to show this. I'll be perfectly frank. Multi-grid is truly like 1/5 designed. It is the last thing I designed of multiboard before I went, okay, I've just got to get this out the door. So let me actually just show you, and what I'll do is I'm going to pop you to this, and then we're just going to go straight to what I've got back here. And then I can literally just show you around. So hold on, we're going to go flying now for a bit. Hopefully the power cable will be able to get around, because I did not think this one through. I did not think this through. Okay, let's see. Let me switch you around for 2 moments here. You can do this. I believe in you. There we go. Let me turn off this, pull the power cable out, bring you around, and we'll plug it back in, and then we'll plug the camera back in. Because right this minute, if you're wanting to put a a multi-grid bin onto your multiboard, you've got so many different options. And I gather that's also probably one of the problems of multiboard, is that there are so many options. So let's first show you the only option there was at the start, which was this here. So let me just grab this here, flip this round. So now you're about to see the mess that it is that I'm looking at here. So ready? Here we go. This is the mess that I'm looking at right now. And this is not what my... Hello, camera, you want to work, right? It doesn't want to work. Oh, goodness me. This never is going to work out for me. So, sometimes this camera just doesn't want to connect up. So let's see. This is why I tried to do everything before. Hello? Okay, hold on 2 seconds. I just need to force this to actually work. Works if I have my mouse with me. Close-up camera, come on. Behave yourself. We're live right now. Why is this not wanting to work? Really? Right. Well, I'm sorry about that, folks. We're just going to have to do this from a distance. So, from a distance, I will show you. So, all of this is just on top. Actually, I can show you this one on this one here. You'll see, I'm currently unscrewing it from underneath. And then I unscrew it from another spot. Bin, 2 short bolts, and then, oh, do I not have my multi-tool with me? No, I do. Okay. Let's grab this. And let's see. I really want to get this camera working again, because it's going to make this stream so much more friendly for everyone. So give me 1 moment. Let me just turn the camera off, turn the camera back on, plug this back in, hope that it's going to get recognized. Give it a short moment. I'll flip this across, and no. Okay, never mind, never mind. The show must go on. So we have, this used to be the only way. There's a whole bunch of other ways. I'm going to carry on going to all your questions later, but you use the bin shelf, then you use a small little T-bolt of some sort, and then with that, oh, let's not fall off the chair. You get your multi-board. This is exactly the same, this side and that side, so you're going to basically put that onto your multi-board. You get this small bolt, you go into there, and then that is already now the bin shelf pretty securely on here. Now to get a bin onto there so that it sticks and doesn't fall off, those are push fit holes, and push fit holes have middle threads. And you've got these, the shortest middle threads are basically made to be the same distance. When you put this up against here, you can go all the way through into here. You tighten it up, give it a moment. It's hard when it's not up on a wall. You tighten this up. I'm not even going to go all the way because there's no need. And then it holds on. Keep in mind that that one is a prototype one. Everything you're seeing, by the way, they've all been test pieces. They've gone through a lot. So let me just pull out here. This is a new piece. And, well, new pieces don't actually work that well. There's a lot happening behind the scenes, and we're going to get into all of that. But yeah, you just bolt that in there, and that's going to, you can see that's not going anywhere now. This is because this is actually going to be one of the new bins, and the new bins are a lot firmer on here. I would not suggest going out more than 2, maybe 3 at most, if you're going to do this type of bin shelf connection, because what I would suggest for a bin shelf connection, if you're going to be putting a lot of heavy weight onto it, and that's the main thing for me when it comes to multiboard, is I want it to be as strong as possible, is, hold on, there's a lot of prototype stuff here as well. This is something that's going to be coming out soon. This is the 4x4, and this one here, you can put a bin plate onto there, or you can put a bin just straight onto here as well. So grab a bin, you can just push fit that on, and that would go onto a multiboard wall. And yeah, there's so much. But the thing is, I would discourage just using a straight up bin, because the truth is, this here, let me grab a multiboard. You can just snap a multiboard onto that. Now imagine you had 2 of these, one on this side, and let me just go to the other side, give me one moment, and one here and one across on the other side. You can make this as long as you want. You can extend these and whatever. And then that's actually a shelf to put bins on, and then if you want, you just get yourself the panel. You can put the panel on top of here with small bolts, or with the click, I've forgotten what they're called, the click snaps, and then that's going to be a grid for you to put whatever bin you want on there. Now you might be saying, okay, but then what happens about this here? Like that, I lose a lot of space there. Well, not really. All you have to do is flip around the snap and then connect, then connect it from the backside, or get yourself a double-sided snap. And then what you're going to do is, let's see, everything's everywhere, by the way. I haven't been able to keep on top of everything. Here, I'm just going to use this one for example. And then you get yourself a small T-bolt, and you would go all the way in on this side here. That would now bolt lock that in, so you can now place that this way around, and there is no way that that is going to get pulled off. Because if you're using a T-bolt here, that's bolt locked in, and now you have a really strong multiboard shelf. Now you're wondering maybe about this here, that it's just going to pull out. Well, if you use the directional weight-bearing snaps, and you bolt lock the top snap in, and you bolt lock this one in, I'm telling you now, that is going to be very, very strong. Okay, so there's 101 ways of how to put a bin onto multiboard. I understand right this minute, it seems like it's all over the place, and it sort of is. It's because it's all still in development. So the multi-grid system is about to have a massive update. Well, when I say a massive update, all the values in it are about to get tweaked to be like concrete values that we can then go forward with and develop a whole bunch more stuff. And I'm also then going to be able to bring in a whole bunch more accessories to truly show you the value of why everything has been designed like this. So, okay, I went off on one there. Let's go for it. I'm going to go to the live questions for a bit now. I'm going to get my mouse because I left it over there when I was trying to fix this. Hold on, let's see. Let's try this one more time, see if it's going to show up. So we're going to have the weird screen for a moment. Okay, nothing. Let me try going back over here, forcing it to do its thing, deactivate and activate up. Why are you doing this? Right. It just doesn't like me. It just doesn't like me. Fine. Fine. We'll do it this way then. God, I spend all this time getting extra long cables and all of that, and now it's just not wanting to play ball. Fine. I guess that's what happens when you just straight up pull out the power from the camera that you just spent the last half hour setting up. So, okay. Right, I'm going to scroll up a bit and let's see what's going on. Here we go. Audio okay. Testing PETG. Printed. You know what? If you start any questions with the big text question, it's going to make it much easier for me to see your questions. So, that was my question. No questions right now. Lol, ha. I'm wondering. Okay. Is it available on Amazon? No, it's not available on Amazon. However, there's quite a few multi-partners that I have an interest. I'm really interested to see how that's going to go forward. Anyway, there is one question that I am sort of wanting to get to pretty early on. So let's talk about these descriptions. By the way, do put in, if you have any questions, start it with big capital questions so then I can see it in the chat at a glance. So we've got a question here, which is, when will the descriptions on things be updated and be useful? Having hundreds of parts, but 95% of them containing the same copy-paste description, this is part of blah, 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 is incredibly frustrating when trying to learn the system. And then we've got someone saying, how the heck do you use brackets? Well, brackets sort of self-explain themselves. They're push fit in. But the descriptions. So look, behind the scenes here, I have done like 95% of all the design of Multiboard up to launch. Then past that, we're actually starting to get people who are helping us out. One of them that you might have already heard in the Discord community is Stella. She's been a great help, and that's why we've been able to really get into all this step files and all the rest out there. I've had to dust off my Fusion skills that I haven't done in about 4 years, so that's been an incredibly painful process. But there's also Blue Cube, who has been a marketer, who has helped me out tremendously over the last few months, and poor thing, I've made him go, hey, the 700 and something files, you've got to make description of them. So he has been doing them slowly but surely. You'll find that all the key core components do have descriptions. In fact, I think yesterday and today, he's been working on putting a whole bunch more descriptions. So in other words, descriptions are coming. We're first going to do MVP descriptions, which is descriptions without links, without anything, just straight up telling you what the part is. Then we're going to probably go through it all once again, adding links and cross-referencing to other parts, saying like, hey, look, this is the part A wall support snap. It works with part B's. And then it would actually have a link to part B. But as you can see, everything is so incredibly flexible that if we told you all the different parts that one thing can actually work with another one, you basically just list the entirety of Multiboard once again. So I understand it's a tricky thing to learn, but I have an idea that we're currently working on to make the entire learning process a lot easier, which is, I think we all quite like video games and we're pretty inept when it comes to the digital space. Well, we're going to be making an actual multi-board simulator to design your whole multi-board, but also as a way of learning multi-board. And then you're going to actually be able to design it all up and then just hit export design. And then what that's going to do is just give you a big long list telling you how much you need to print of each thing with a link to it to download it. It'll be that simple. So hopefully you'll be able to play around without having to waste much PLA or waste much printing once you have the simulator out. But again, this is very early days. I could have put in another 6 months of work into this, but funds were very low. If you haven't seen my Reddit post or my comment, when just before putting this out, the month of that, I started the month with only £36 in the bank. So yeah, now finally it's not quite like that, thanks to all of your support. So yeah, that's always good fun. Okay, let's see. Questions? Any questions in the chat? Is there here or not? Okay, here. There's this question from Stephen H, which is, I tried to print the 8mm cross offset snap DS bumper. First layer printed great, second layer spaghetti. There's a 2mm gap between the top and the bottom objects. Suggestions? There is a 2mm gap, because did you get the wait, there is a 2mm gap, a 2mm gap between the top and bottom objects. I have no idea what you're talking about there. So quad offset snap. Oh, the stack. Well, yes, there is. There's going to be a 0.2mm gap in the stacks, because you've got to look up stack printing. You've got to iron between them, and then when you iron between them, you'll be able to print on top of them. I advise that you try the test stack first to see if that works, rather than jumping right into it. And I'm sure someone will point you out into an entire video that I have that just quickly goes over the how to do stack printing. Also, by the way, the Multiboard Slicer settings Discord channel is a lifesaver for anybody looking for settings about Multiboard. Like, the amount of testing that's going on there, I love it. Okay, I'm just going to go to the next question here. Okay, we've got Mr. Smiley666. Okay, tweaking the hard dimensions you mentioned. Does that mean we should be replacing all the files we have downloaded with new files? Ultimately, yes. This is why, this is one of the many reasons that there isn't a download all. Firstly, it would be an absolute nightmare to any server out there saying download all, because all the files collectively are currently, well, I don't know. I think it's around 4 gigabytes, but it's a lot. And you people are a lot. You're a lot more people than you think you are. And let's put it this way. Fangs literally told me we were the equivalent of DDoSing them, because we were downloading so much so quickly in the first few days. It was truly insanity what was going on there. That everyone was hitting limits left, right, and center. They themselves have had to almost whitelist Multiboard. They haven't done that just yet, but they will probably in the future, because what's happening is there used to be a 50 download limit per person per day. They've had to raise that up to 150, because the average person diving into Multiboard does about 20 to 50 downloads the first time they encounter it. So yeah, it's pretty good fun. So will you have to update things? Yes, you will have to re-update things and re-download things. I will very much tell you that's what the whole changelog is all about. It's very obvious usually, and we haven't done a single change that we don't tell you. What I want to do is pure transparency and communication as much as possible. That's why we're doing the announcements all the time. That's why we have the changelog. That's why literally my day-to-day roadmap of what I'm doing, you can see. Just go over to the multiboard.io and you can see roadmap. You can see, oh, that's literally what Jonathan is working on. You can see that all there. Now, there are a few other roadmaps that are sort of behind the scenes, because if we were to put every single little task inside of that, that would be way too big of a roadmap to show everyone. Not that we don't want to share it, it's just too in detail, too granular. But yeah, so there are going to be updates. Like, let me, I can actually just show you them. So this one here, oh God, sorry for the rattling noises. Let me just do this. Okay. So, updates. Let me show you some updates. Here, these are some bigger push-fit shelves. These are not the redesigned ones because I'm currently doing testing to make them further out and stronger. I'm going to make them extendable, make them... Honestly, there's a lot of things going on here, but this here was just the first test. So if you're wanting to, you're going to have to reprint these if you want to, or re-download them. Honestly, I only do updates to files when it comes to something that's going to be really important or make the system better as a whole. And by the way, speaking of that, when it comes to remixes, we now have a design status for every part in Multiboard. So if you go, I think it's multiboard.io, then into the part library, then into remixes, there you'll find the design status and you can see what every status means. And honestly, 98% of Multiboard is still in early beta, so just be aware that if you're making remixes and you're doing all of that stuff, there's still a really good high chance that things are going to change. And I would hate, this is why there's part of me that wants to tell you, hey, look, honestly, stop doing the remixes because I don't want you to waste your efforts. But at the same time, I love seeing your remixes. So it's such a push and pull right this minute. But I've been as honest as I can and just said, hey, look, all of this is still in early beta. So, and I've even done another column, which is early beta changes imminent, because all of these things here, they're changes. Changes have already happened to these. So let me explain. Let's go with the base plates. Now, I'm going to zoom that camera in because you're too far away and we don't have a close-up camera anymore. So let me, here, we're going to have stand-in me, which is going to be this tripod without me destroying everything. There we go, stand-in me. Oh. And now we're going to go like this. Make sure that the tripod is in focus. We're going to go all the way in. There we go. Now we're going to get right in my face. Well, I don't know if that's going to be my face. Where's that going to land? Huh. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right. I don't know if I'm in focus. I hope I am. But this is going to make it easier to show you. So, I ran out of filament while I was doing these, but these are going to be the new base plates. They look pretty similar, don't they? And these are going to be the new bins. They look pretty similar, don't they? But they've actually fixed an issue that we have with these, and we've added more features to them. Now, will the old bins work on this? Absolutely. All I've done is brought more to it. So, for instance, in the past, some of you might have experienced this, in the past, if you tried to go like this and then get yourself a bolt and tighten that in, you would have found that one way it will work. However, if you took it out and then rotated this by 90 degrees and then tried to bolt it back in, it wouldn't have worked. It would have put a little gap between the bin and the plate. And that's because the thread orientation was wrong. What I did was I patterned it out rather than radially array them across every bin cell. So now, it doesn't matter which way you are going to be able to put in these, this will thread in all the way into the base and be completely solid in there. So every single bin is going to have that update. There's going to be an update to the bottom threads. Now, does that mean it completely breaks everything? No, it doesn't. It just means that there's going to be some bins in your collection, which are the very old bins, that will just have a teeny tiny gap if they're not orientated correctly. And it really is a small gap. I think it's a 0.3 or a 0.4 gap. It's not much at all. Okay, the other thing is the plates are now going to have this little holes here on the side. What on earth are they? Well, plates, not many people are using them and I get it because they seem like a lot of waste material, and I completely get that. I would much rather just print this, right? Well, technically, this on top of a multiboard is the equivalent of a plate. So let's make plates even more useful then. So one of the things is we had some little gaps here. Well, they're going to just whack that there, and then you're going to be able to snap plates together. Now that connection isn't exactly the strongest, but it's not really intended to be the strongest. There's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff going on there, but we're also going to do bigger connections, and these bigger connections are going to let you connect panels to the plates. Let me see. So now a panel can be connected to a plate as well. So for instance, imagine you had 2 bins, and I don't know, let's say you had 2 towers of 2 bins, and then across that gap you actually create a whole bunch of panel plate all the way across it. You could actually now, between 2 plates, you could hook on this grid system all the way across, and then if you want, you can put bins on top of it. Personally, I like the idea of making little LED lights, so that turns into sort of like a workstation with lights. But anyway, yes, you're going to have to re-download things when they get updated and all that, but we try our absolute best to not break compatibility. Again, you can go over to the Remix page and you can see all the information of what all the design statuses mean there. Like, here's another one. This is the command strip update, by the way. This is, I think it's either already out or it's about to be out, and it's just the same, just it's now the command strips. Ooh, let me use the removal tool. The command strips now use the new A/B system. So it's up to you. You don't have to re-download them, but whenever I'm doing an update, it is because we're bringing more functionality to it all. All right, now with that said, let me go down here. Any other big questions? Tweaking hard dimension. Oh, one last thing on that, tweaking of hard dimensions. When I say tweaking the hard dimensions, I also mean we're removing the rounding errors. Now, the rounding errors within Blender, because by the way, the entirety of Multiboard was designed in Blender. There were rounding errors, but keep in mind that those were in the atomic scale. Like we were having let's say we were doing the board height, I would be 6.50001, and that didn't really make sense to have that considering we were going for such precision. So moving everything into Fusion and Blender at the same time, it's going to be basically the best of both worlds. Okay, now let's see. Going down, I'm just looking for that questions. So question, we've got the pole mount. Question for the pole mount, what is the pole mount diameter? Actually, the pole mount diameter, I swear we added that into the description. Maybe not just yet. But pole mount diameter. Actually, this is a fun one. Let me show you. Oy. And I'm gonna zoom back out for this one. So pole mounts. We're using the industry standard broom pole. So basically, you can get these. I can get these for about £1 or £1.70 a pole on Amazon, and the industry standard is 24 millimeters, but it's wood. You're not going to get 24 millimeters. What you're going to be getting is 23, 25, 26, and all of that, which is why they come in 2 or 3 parts. You have this round part, which is basically, it does nothing. And then you have the sleeve. The sleeve has the hooks inside of it, and that's depending on the thickness of your wooden pole. You might even have to test it because different points on a wooden pole might be a different thickness. And what you basically do is you put the sleeve on. So I'm just going to go here, put the sleeve on, whichever one it is that you have. You then just wrap that around. There's a little registry mark on the side here and inside of there. You push that on, make sure that it registers up nicely, and then from here, I suggest that if you're wanting to put a lot of weight on it, make sure that it is a T-bolt. I only have a whole bunch of test parts around me, so yeah, that's not going to happen anytime soon. But you basically just put yourself your multiboard in here, use a T-bolt, and then that just clamps up and closes it up and pushes those spikes into the wood. So yeah, I would say it's everything from 23 all the way up to I think about 25 or 26 is about as big as you can get with poles, and it is specifically designed for a wooden pole, so just be aware of that. I am planning on doing one for metal poles pretty soon because I'm seeing some amazing remixes of people using it for your bog standard sort of metal rack that has these wooden poles, and also for screen monitor mounts. They have the big sort of 36mm diameter poles there. That's going to be a cool idea to add all that in. Okay, right, let me carry on going down. Other question: thank you for all the amazing work on multiboard. French cleat mounting, what is recommended dimensions on the wood cleat on the wall thickness? Would you still do screw on wall further down? So French cleats. Let's flip this camera around. Let me just show you it. Yeah, let's just do this because you are now here. Let me just flick this around. We're gonna go here. Da-doo. I'm gonna speak up so you can hear me. So I have a French cleat wall that I absolutely love, but right here, let me sort this out. There is the French cleat sort of tested out part. So if I bring that out, this here, that is the French cleat one. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what size your French cleat is, but I gather that you do need the dimension of that cleat there. So the dimensions of those cleats, from what I'm aware of, that is 18mm thick with a 45-degree cut on it. So that's pretty much it. Cleats are pretty simple in their sense. Cleats are incredibly powerful and incredibly flexible as well, so you'll pretty much be able to put as much weight as you want on a cleat. I haven't ever had a cleat fail me when it comes to putting weight. Even that big light that you just saw, that is on a laser cut cleat holder. So yeah, it's good fun. However, what I would say is that you either have to have a cleat here and another cleat down there to stop it wiggling about, or get yourself a threaded rod of the multiboard, and then down at the bottom you basically put the threaded rod in, and then you do, what's it called? Jamming nuts, nut jamming, where you get two of the nuts. By the way, multiboard has nuts, and you basically just nut jam them together, so then when you screw that rod in, it stops it moving anyway, and then you have another support point down at the bottom. If you have the cleat up here, it will stop it going back and forth. But if you have two cleats, it's going to be a little bit more secure. Okay, next question we have from Marwell. No, that was the French cleat one, and the pole mount was done. And then we'll go down here. Do member only parts eventually become free for everyone? So member only parts, no. Supporter parts will forever be a paid thing. Supporter parts are supporter parts. Early access parts, those do become free with time. So things that are basically ease of use, ease of life. So all the generators, all the pre-stacked stuff, all the packs, that's always going to be paid. I need to add some sort of friction somewhere so that people will want to support multiboard. I have run complete just pure support before, and unfortunately it's only about less than 20% of people want to support just for the sake of supporting. However, if I add just a little bit of quality of life, so like the generator, like the pre-stacked things, like the packs, then all of a sudden, rather than 20% of people, it's more like 50 or 60% of people feel like saying, hey, yeah, look, for $5, why not? For $10, why not? So yeah, so the supporter stuff will never be free. The early access stuff, 100% that will be free. And by the way, you can find out where that's going to be free and when that's going to be free. I think it is, oh goodness, where is it in the, it's on multiboard.io, and I always forget where it is. I think it's under supporter, and then you go all the way down on the page, but it's somewhere in the website. You can basically see when things are going to be coming out as free. So, right, let me carry on going down here. Members only parts. Let's see, another place that says, question, can you explain what is the purpose / usage of Rails? I couldn't figure out what they're there for. Good question. Ultimately, Rails. Now, there's many types of Rails. We have multi-Rails, and we have just normal Rails. And if I'm going to be very honest with it, it's sort of a whatever you want your imagination to take you. So, for instance, the way that I've used a multi-rail, which is basically a multi-board on a single line, is this right here. So I'm just going to pull this out, and then I think that is, yeah, here. I'm just going to, let me take the tools off. I did say I was going to be replacing my back wall, but it looks like there's too many questions. So let me just take this off here. Boom, boom, boom. So I've just got two small peg hole brackets, and then I've got my multi-rail here, and then all I've done is I've put two big threads in there, and then that lets the bracket screw into here, and then this multi-rail, I've went, okay, well, you know what, I'm just going to put tools in there, and then if the tool is too big, or if the tool is too small for this hole, well, I just get myself a snap, and I put it into there, and then it's a smaller hole. Now I understand, that's not exactly the prettiest thing out there, but sometimes it isn't about being pretty about it, it's just getting it done. I like to refer multiboard to Lego most of the time, and let me give you the way that I'm currently seeing multiboard. Multiboard, in its current state, I've sort of just gone, hey, you're at a garage sale, and here is a box of Lego bricks. Now, go and make stuff with it. That's where we are right this minute with multiboard. I've just given you the box of bricks. And I get it. Many people are out there saying, huh, this is just a box of bricks. What am I going to do with a box of bricks? How can I build anything? But, you know, inside of that big box, that used to be made out of 6, 7 different packs that people used to build. So inside of that box, there's a spaceship. Inside of that box, there's a race car. Inside of that box, there's, I don't know, whatever you want it to be. But that's sort of the same with multiboard. Like, the things that I'm seeing is there's a lot of accessories currently being remixed and designed for things that technically you can already make with multiboard. And not only that, every single part in multiboard is made to be as 3D printable, strong as possible. So that's more just me. I just love making things as strong as possible when it comes to 3D printing. So that's why I'm able to put 16 kilos onto the bracket system that I did for the filament holder, because I know it can hold it. I've designed it so that every element of that is as strong as it can be, and there won't be a weak point on it, which is the thing that slightly concerns me when I see these awesome remixes, that people are just, they're printing sort of like a plate, and it's got a 45-degree up and up like this, and you're just printing that like that. I'm just like, you put any type of weight on here, this is literally going to shear off on the print lines. Like, at a minimum, if you print it at a 45-degree, at least then it'll be a lot harder for it to break. So right now, there is just a box of multiboard parts, and they all sort of eventually going to make sense, but for the time being, it's very much in your imagination. And the brilliant part is that the more we all play with it, and the more we all just truly just go, hey, what's the craziest way that I can, I don't know, multiboard up a spool holder? Because truly, you can already, like day one, there's already a way of putting a spool holder together. You know, you use the pole attachments, you use the tile brackets, and you use some other, like the internal brackets to hold a multiboard bracket onto the multiboard. And now you can put a pole across there. And then that pole can hold a spool. You can go crazy with it. I realize that it's also very much depends on everyone else's aesthetic, but yeah, I need some water now. Let's see, what are the questions? Man, let's see. We've got, I think I skipped down a bit too far there. I can explain the purpose of blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Go down. Question. Let's see. We've got one from Maker Bees. Okay. I am hoping to make a cylindrical / hex or octagonal 2 large holes per side board component. I tried with the generator, but I am not good enough. Do you think it's possible? I am hoping to make a cylindrical hex or octagon. I gather you're talking about tiles? Making a tile that has an octagonal hole in it? I'm not quite sure about the question, unfortunately. Sorry, Maker Bees. But if you're wondering, can the generator have multiple holes in it? You very much can. I would suggest you can either do my crash course, paid promo there, but no, the truth is I have an entire free course here on YouTube of Blender. Just go through the first sort of like 5 videos, or there's a very quick one as well. And all you have to do is that cutting object that is cutting the hole in, go into it into edit mode and then just make more mesh. And then that mesh you can cut, go crazy with it. In fact, one of the very crazy things I was thinking of doing is you can make different shapes with the boards. You can do anything really within that generator. It is very, very flexible. And if you really want to actually make a board, you can just boolean a hole straight into it. But yeah, I would say if that's the question, yeah, you can make multiple holes, but I'm not quite sure on that one just yet. So I'm going to carry on going down. Is there another question? Another question. Let me just go down. Question, pole mount. Think that. Question, can you explain the purpose? Bum bum. Yeah, okay. Maker Bees question. And then another question. Bum bum. Going down. Watching your channel for Blender videos and tutorial primary project. Blah 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 blah. Oh, Hedgehog Makes. Thanks. Thank you. And then we're gonna go down. Do you have? Oh wait, I forgot on. There was a question there. There was Maker Bees question, and then there was a question right about here. Question: when I go to use Fusion Thread Tool, I can't find one that. Yeah, there is no such thing. There is no threads out there that match this. I can tell you that right now. These are fully customized threads. Here we go. Let's show you something that I haven't shown ever before, which is the bag and box of testing. So let me, where is it? Here it is. Yeah, there. Oh. Okay. Now let me just, before I do this, just because I don't want things to get mixed up between where things are right now. So sorry for the ruffling noises, but I need to keep this separate. That was over there. That was over here. This is over there. So I'm about to show you what all the work that went in to the first development. Okay. Let me just move this off to the side. To figure out those bolts, that's how much testing I've done. So there's a lot that's gone behind it. This here, by the way, is the Multiboard graveyard. This is all 10 versions of Multiboard, and all the other tests. This is the very, very, very first tests of Multiboard. Is actually, I think, this one here. So yeah, there's a lot that's gone into this. There's been many, many, many different bolt iterations, and ultimately we've got to where we are with the bolts now, because I found that was the one that worked the best across a multitude of different printers. Because I could have definitely made the bolt stronger, but then you would have had to have higher tolerances, everyone, and I just wanted to make this as accessible as possible. So yeah, there is no fusion thread tool, but don't fret, there is an entire thread generator coming out soon. And if you really want, and you really know fusion well, you can always create your own one. But yeah, that is all coming out soon. There's something like 10 plus generators about to come out. I just haven't made the Blender versions yet, because yeah, it's gone a lot faster than I expected, and my hands are a little bit full at the moment. But let's carry on. Okay, here we go. Next up, question after that was, do you have a video explaining the multi-grid bin system? I'm confused on how it mounts to the grid. I actually already gone through all of that earlier in this video, and there's going to be a whole bunch more. Multi-grid is very much in the early stages of development. Going to carry on down here. Question, do you have a video explaining that? Question, since you switched to CAD software, I guess Multiboard is taking majority, if not all of your time. Does that mean that CAD Sketcher is dying or dead? No. It is taking up a hell of a lot of my time. Pretty much from get up to go to bed and just multiboard it out. But no, no, no. CAD Sketcher is 100% not dead. My time is very much pulled thinly right now, and I am planning on actually recreating a lot of multiboard inside of CAD Sketcher. There's actually some really cool things happening inside of CAD Sketcher. And by the way, if you have no idea what CAD Sketcher is, it's bringing CAD-like sketch-based design into Blender, and it's amazing. And the cool things that's going to be coming into CAD Sketcher soonish is geometry node tools. So when you actually do surfacing, when you actually do extrusions, when you actually do arraying and all of that, it's actually going to be a custom node group that I've actually been developing. I think I've done 3 out of the 6 that I want to be doing. So CAD Sketcher is going to have its own tools, and one of them is even lofting. We've never had true lofting from curve to curve inside of Blender, and we're going to be able to do that. In fact, if you go into the CAD Sketcher Discord, you'll see that I did show a quick little snippet of it, but I haven't truly got my head fully around it yet. And we also have to remember that CAD Sketcher is very much not to replace CAD. It is an entire beast of its own. It is the fusion of the two opposite realms coming together to create its own workflow. So it can be tricky at times, and this big 4.0 update also really screwed things up and for many add-ons. But now things will start coming again, especially once Multiboard slows down. It's not going to slow down once I get ahead of it. So once everything's gets into the flow of things and I've been able to sort myself out, I would imagine 2, 3, maybe 4 months time, I'm going to be able to put a lot more energy into CAD Sketcher, and I might even be able to put in a lot more backing into CAD Sketcher as well, thanks to Multiboard. So yeah, that's something to basically just keep in mind. Okay, the carry on questions since switching there, and then we have oh wait, Maker Bees. Okay, I have the paid course, but it was a while ago, so I like an arrangement of tiles 2 wide tall in an octagonal cylindrical arrangement, but not separate pieces. DM me on Discord. I still don't get quite what you're saying. DM me and I'll try and figure it out, because I'm sure something's going to be possible. All right, then I'm going to carry on going down. Question, hey, Nico B. Let's see, question. With all the work you put in, considering the struggle with monetary support in the beginning, did everything pay out for you the way you hoped in the end? Man, that is... So, I will, straight up. So, Nico B is basically saying, what exactly happened with Multiboard, really? Well, if you haven't seen it, go over to Reddit and look up Multiboard, and you'll find inside of the Gridfinity Reddit, there's a post there that I basically say why I switched Multiboard. Because if you don't know, Multiboard was a paid thing at the start. And the main reason why it went paid was because when I was going through the development of this and I showed it to a whole bunch of people that I really admire, respect, and love, and they would all look at me like I'm utterly crazy for giving this away for free. So that at that point, it was also really tough monetarily for me. Like I was having a really bad time. Like I said, I started the month of the launch of Multiboard with only £36 in my account and having to go into emergency funds. And I was just like, screw it. Like, people are paying $128,000 in support for a board that has threads in it. They're paying like another God knows how much for a 3D printed box. And I'm just like, surely Multiboard has a chance. So I went, screw it, let's do it. Obviously, it didn't pan out. It wasn't because there was backlash, because I'm fine with backlash, totally fine with it. What I didn't like is that I was fracturing the community I love. And that's the last thing I ever want to be a part of. So I went, nope, I'm going to change this up. We're going to change the entire thing from the ground up. We're going to change it. I think it was out for 3 days, and then I flipped the switch and we said, nope, we're going to completely change the model. And with that model change, yes, things have been a lot better. It's made Multiboard right this minute financially viable. Will this carry on in the future? I have no idea. I have no idea if all these lovely supporters have just gone, hey, look, here's $5, bye. I'm not going to come back again. But I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. And thus far, it has gone the way that I hoped. I do wish that I did a lot more development beforehand, but I know that I literally wouldn't have been able to have done that financially to do more development. Heck, I was almost having to call it quits with this entire YouTube thing, because it was just getting to the point that at the end of every month I was scraping the barrel for anything. So yeah, just by the way, I still haven't been paid out. I'll get a payout over on the beginning of February, and that will be the first payout of all the Fangs members. So I currently am still broke. So anyway, let's carry on. So yeah, it has worked out in the end, and I am happy with it. What I'm really happy about is, wow, what a community. Like, the Discord has gone from 3,000 to 6,000 members in less than a month. That is amazing. And also this live stream is a lot more lively compared to my last live stream. Okay, so let's carry on going down here. Question. There's another question. I like the Gridfinity magnetic base plates. Are there magnetic multiboard bins option that work? Well, this is multiboard and everything's multifunctional, and I'll tell you right now, there is 100% magnets coming to everything. I am working on magnetic walls. I am working on magnetic bins. Actually, Stella's working on the magnetic bins right this minute. And there is a lot. There's a lot going on. There is over 50 accessories currently in development, and another 14, or yeah, I think it's 14 core multi-board big changes, not actually big changes, big functionality updates coming as well. So there's a lot happening behind the scenes. And honestly, I'm being open with it all. So I just want to keep it a little bit of a surprise. You know, if I tell you all the surprises right away, it's no longer a surprise. It's just like a, hey, where is it? And I just want to be like, no, it'll be ready when it's ready. I'm not rushing it now. But yeah, magnets are coming. Let's carry on going down. Any other question? Documentation is desperately needed. Okay, let's do this right now. Okay, all cards on the table, right? Here they are. What on earth are you wanting documentation? We have multiboard.io, we have the Knowledge Hub, and honestly, the Knowledge Hub has all the knowledge of everything. Like truly, all the knowledge of everything is there. Yes, hold up. Yes, there aren't images, and I get that. But you got to keep in mind, the images are done by me, and there are, what, 700 parts right now? Every other part or every fifth part can connect with another part. So there's a good 300-ish images to make. And I don't know what you'd prefer as a community. Would you prefer me to actually go and spend my time making images for 3 months? Or would you prefer me to go and spend the next 3 months developing and designing the next stages of Multiboard so that it grows on even further? And then when there's time to spare here and there, we go back and sort out the images. Because truly, documentation is there. I get the descriptions are a bit of a pain right this minute, but they're all being updated literally as we speak. And all the information is there. Now, I haven't been doing the videos because, as you've seen, there's been a lot of development going on. So I don't want to give you videos on a part that's literally going to change the next day. Because then you might think, that is the functional standard, when it isn't. The functional standard is going to be, we'll learn the functional standard together. You and me will literally, as we're exploring through our multi-board junkyard bin and going, how does that connect? How does this connect? How does that work? We're going to find it ourselves. There are a few standards, and all of those are actually in the Knowledge Hub right now. So yeah, that's sort of what I'm really wanting to know. When people say, where's the documentation? I just sort of want to be like, multiboard.io/knowledge hub. That's documentation, is it not? And if it's not, what's missing? Let me know what's missing. I want to know what's missing. I want to give you what you want to know. But I also feel that at the same time, many times over, it's sort of like, oh God, there's a wall of text in front of me. And I get that. There's just so much. You can do so much with Multiboard that it isn't a single system. It is an entire ecosystem. So it's going to take a long time to develop, I think, a knowledge hub that anybody could just be like, flash their eyes and understand it. And I think that's going to come a lot from the community, building projects and showing those images. And then I'll say, hey, can I use your image inside of the website? Brilliant. And then I'll be able to we'll be able to show collectively, all of us, hey, these are all the different things you can do with Multiboard, so that when people actually look at it and go, oh, this is just sort of an adult Lego to do whatever comes to mind. I guess the key fundamental part for everybody, and I think probably the one thing that's missing from the Knowledge Hub, is helping you build the way of thinking. Because the way it works is, you have to not think of it in parts. You have to think of it in connection points. So you have a bolt. Now this bolt on its head has this weird octagonal hole. Wherever you see that weird octagonal hole in Multiboard, there's going to be a thread. That is the push fit thread. Okay, the push fit hole. Push fit holes have a middle thread and can take push fit accessories. Awesome. Push fit accessories, most of them will have a hole in the back of them. That means that they are bolt lockable, which means they can be push fit into a snap and held in place by a snap. The entirety of Multiboard everywhere has threads. So if you're wanting to attach something directly to this, you use a big thread. If you're wanting to make a connection that is semi-removable, you use a snap. And if you're wanting that snap to be permanent, you use a thread into the back of that. It's more of a understanding the way of thinking rather than me showing you all the different permutations. Because my goodness me, the combinations that I've been seeing inside the community, I never thought of before. And it's exactly why I try and make Multiboard as flexible as possible. So yeah, my question to you is, what exactly do you mean by documentation? What is currently missing in the documentation apart from images? Because that's honestly, you're going to spend my time. And if you spend my time with that, there'll be no further developments in Multiboard. And I don't think anybody really wants that. There will be videos. And now that the core stuff is almost done and dusted, I would say give it another month and there'll be pretty much all stepped up. So that means it'll be working both in Blender and in step programs real quickly and easily. And yeah, that's what I want to know. So, okay, going up back here, because I've just seen the chat has moved a whole bunch everywhere. Let's see what's going on. Oh, thank you, Marwell. Thanks a lot, man. That really does mean a lot. And awesome, Carl, for becoming a multi-maker means a lot. Now there is one big question. We still have an hour left right now, so that's brilliant, because one of the big questions that I want to answer that's in the Multiboard Q&A live stream is talking about the license, and we'll get to that one 100%. Man, I'm talking so much. I just saw from Hedgehog Makes, I want to make a rocket ship with the parts. What do I need? That would be awesome. Actually, someone should make a rocket ship. Okay, I'm going to carry on. Remember that if you have a question, start at the beginning of your question with a big capital question, because I'm just sort of like quickly just going straight through that. And anything that has the big question, I'm going to answer. Well, answer as much as I can. I'm going to carry on going down. Let's celebrate the first super. Ooh, thank you. Here's a cheap coffee. That means a lot. I've gone through a lot of coffee, and that, by the way, was the very first super thanks on the live stream. So thank you. Okay, carrying on going down. Okay, question. How big? Okay. So I don't think there's any other big questionos there. So feel free to add more questions into the live chat. I'm going to go back into the Discord Q&A, and just before we go into the license question, let's see what other ones. Question, what is the point of the push fit pixels? Is it just decorative? Honestly, yeah. Push fit pixels is for you to basically make pixel art on a multiboard. Now they are still in development. I have a whole bunch of cool stuff coming with push fit pixels. It's going to be really cool. Let's just say it's going to be very enlightening. The operative word being light. But yes, it's going to be good. And push fit pixels are very much to be decorative. In the future, I am also going to be adding a whole bunch of actual functional push fit pixel stuff, which will be cool. I also want push fit pixels, I think long-term wise, I'm going to make this entire wall multiboard, and I'm going to be printing out people's logos onto the push fit pixels, so you can have one on there as basically as a supporter. So it'll be cool to see how I'm able to pull that off, but I don't want to put too much on my plate too quickly. Okay, then we go, here's another one. We need examples. What can you build using Multiboard? The more examples, the better. And I completely, another try 2024 from Discord, I completely agree. More examples, the better. we're going to go back to that Lego analogy. You right this minute, it is a big Lego box. So I'm just saying, hey, make whatever it is that you want to make. I have a whole bunch of ideas of what they will be coming out, but I want to get the ideas out to you first and then show you everything that can be made. And in that time being, I'm sure you're going to make a whole bunch of cool stuff and start sharing it across everywhere with the images and just be like, hey, look, I made this, I made that. Like someone's already done a monitor shelf, which is exactly one of the things that I was going to first do with Multiboard, was actually a monitor shelf system itself. Right, let's just carry on going down here. Right, and then could you please cover the horizontal pole bracket? How do each of the pieces work? What is the point of the sleeve? How do you secure a pole to the bracket so that the pole doesn't just slide out? Well, I already sort of did the whole pole thing. Actually, I really did do the entire whole pole thing. But the one that you saw there, that was the vertical mount. The horizontal one, the sleeve, basically, because I have it up there, but the other one, it works like a claw like this. So because the snap is up here and the claw is snapping like that, if you try to just straight up bolt on from that snap there, there's nothing holding that together. You have to get yourself the sleeve to hold that entire thing together. And then once you hold the whole thing together, then you're able to use the snaps just fine. Right, my phone is going crazy, and normally people don't message me at this point. So let me, it's just Discordy stuff happening. Okay, that's cool. Right, let's see. Could you please cover the horizontal? The intro video mentioned the installer piece that goes to the corner. Yes, actually, if you go over to the mini multiboard, I basically go into full detail there. But do I have it here? Yeah, there it is. This is the installer piece. This piece goes on the bottom right-hand corner of your multiboard. That is the centers of all the mounts. You want to line this up to be straight as possible at that bottom corner there, so that you know that that tile is going to be good and proper to go forward with. And then using this, you're able to just guide a whole bunch of holes. Now, there's also a whole bunch of awesome community remixes that do the holds differently, in the sense that you basically connect the tile to it to then make the holes. Personally, myself, I found that I pretty much just built the multiboard up from that bottom left-hand corner, and then as I went along, I would do the holes, and that was it. Fun thing about this multiboard, it doesn't actually have any J plugs. I don't know why I didn't, but that's because I think I was hitting a stud every other one, and I just went, you know what, that's good enough for me. So yeah, installer tool, go over to the mini multiboard video. That's going to have all the answers for you. And I'm just going down here. What's going on here? Okay, as I go down, not exactly. Okay, here we got a question. The tolerance marking is barely visible after printing. Would it be possible to do something like this in the picture? In the industry, it would be the first thing you would poke a hole. I'm not quite sure what that is there. That tolerance marking would it be possible to do something like this? So something like that. So if you're wondering what question I'm answering, it's over in the Discord Q&A, and it shows sort of like a weird V shape on the part B part, and where honestly I find the markings are barely visible because they're not really supposed to be that visible. We have actually made them deeper now. So I don't know if you maybe had the very first version that came out. But yeah, I'll take a re-look at that. They are made for 2.4 millimeter layer heights. So 0.2 millimeter layer height. So if you're doing it a different one, it might be more invisible. But also, I would gather that you know what the tolerance is of your system, and you aren't going to be doing a whole bunch of different tolerances all over the place. So that's something else. The other thing that I'm saying is that V, I don't know if you're wondering why I didn't add sort of a give space for the snap. Well, I didn't add a give space for the snap because two things. One, the thread, if you added a give space, that means that the thread will not be in the right alignment. But also the second one is I've tested all that. I've shown all the bags of tests. I've done that test. That is the #1 way to break a snap. I found that if I just made it solid, it didn't snap. But if I added those, oh God, I've forgotten what it was, but spring relief basically, they would snap off. And it was really annoying, really, really annoying, because I wanted a more of a spring relief system, but I just couldn't get it to work in such a small area. Right, I'm gonna go back to the Discord, not Discord, the live chat here. Go through here. I'm gonna go see. Oh wow, the chat really sucks sometimes. It just sort of jumps right to the bottom. There is a question here from Kaizol13. How big can the shelves be and still fit? What shelves and what still fit? Because technically speaking, you can. Where is it? Ooh. I think this is the biggest bracket that I have right this minute. This is the 8x8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, this is not the biggest one. This is the biggest one? Yeah, this is the biggest bracket. This is the biggest bracket. So if 8x8, you can put that onto a multi-board, and you can make a multi-board go past that. This is bigger than a quad bin. So that's going to, no, it's about the same size as a quad bin. So you take the full weight of a quad on there, and you could go past that. And if you had the custom generator, you could make these bigger. You really can go crazy with this entire system. So I don't really know what you mean by how big you can go with it, because you really can go big. Let's see. Let's carry on going down. Questions. Can you make stacks in Prusa Slicer, or do you have to use the tool you provided? Honestly, you don't have to use the tool that I provide at all. I'm literally just, it's there for ease of use and also to support the project. I haven't found a good way of doing it in any slicer, but I also suck at using slicers. So I would say go for the way that I've made it easy, or I'm pretty sure Stella made a video showing how to do it in Tinkercad. Somebody else has done another video showing how to do it in Cura. And yeah, there is ways, but just a big heads up, by the way, the tiles are currently right this minute. I haven't made a big announcement about it just yet because it honestly doesn't change anything. But all the tiles are being changed from being 4.5 millimeters to 4.4. And that is because slicers are basically already reading the tiles as between 4.4 or 4.6. So we're just going to standardize it so that every slicer reads it correctly no matter what. So that gap there, when you're raising that to make your own stack, it isn't 4.7 anymore. It isn't 6.7 anymore. You're going to have to only raise it to 6.6. So just be aware of that. If you're downloading the tiles right now, they have been updated. They don't make a single difference to anyone out there because your slicer has already been slicing it at either 6.4 or 6.6. It was hilarious finding that out. Thank you for Stella for pointing that out to me, because man, that explains a lot of very early frustrations on my part. But yeah, that is what I would say about that. So you can make your own stacks, absolutely. But I do try to make it easy. All you have to do is press a button up and it does it with the tile generator, by the way. Or I've also added all the stacks of all the sizes now in in things. I don't know if they're public just yet. If not, they're going to be public real soon. I think by the end of today or something like that. We got another question. Can you make stacks? Then we've got another one going down. Another question. Oh, Nico B. Okay, considering documentation, when designing multi-board compatible components, where can we find design principles and concepts to consider? For example, dimensions and relations. Absolutely. And that is a very good question, Nico B. And the truth is, 25mm centers is pretty much the main... the truth is this. You need to know the core design principles of 3D printing. They're everywhere. Just literally search that up. I think inside the remixing, someone's also put up, there's a brilliant GitHub of someone that's already made an entire GitHub that shows all the design principles. But it's understanding that you shouldn't put a fillet on a base. You should always have chamfers there. Whenever there's bridging, if your bridging is going to be more than 10mm, probably do something else. Don't do bridging more than 30mm. If you're going to be doing things with very sharp corners, consider rounding that corner instead, because that's going to be a pull-up point on a surface. It means just keeping in consideration all the 3D printing design principles, 3D printing orientation, and then for multiboard, it is make it as multifunctional as possible. That is literally the core principle of multiboard. The multi-part, multifunctionality. It has to do as much as you can put into it, as many features as you feel like you can add into it, add it in. If you haven't realized, I've gone very much for function over design. I know there is a design over it, and that is something that thankfully I've been able to add to it. I have worked in design in the past, but yeah, there is, by the way, absolutely going to come that exact documentation, what you're talking about. But the truth is, I still haven't even written it down and figured it out myself. So I'm still sort of figuring it all out. Like there's small chamfers here and there that I've changed from being a standard of 0.35 to being a standard of 0.4. And now I'm changing that everywhere. But it doesn't really make much difference just yet until I've made this documentation. And I'd rather people don't learn the way of making it when it's still changing. So it is coming, for sure, that will come. But for now, just basically think 3D printing design principles, make it as strong as possible, make it as multi-use as possible, and that's pretty much it. Okay, for example, dimensions and relations. Dimensions, there's the dot step, so you can get all the dimensions from that. And honestly, it's 25mm centers is pretty much the #1 thing to say. Okay. Oh God, let's see. Let me carry on. It just jumped a whole bunch again. Oh wow, we're already on the last half hour. Considering documentation and look at how many screws did you put for the wall behind you? Camera gives the impression it is 1 per orange piece. Forgot the name, sorry. No, absolutely. So I have literally just got, let's see, let's go. What the hell just fell? So this one here has 2. This one has 2. This one has 2. This one has 2. Basically, every tile has, oh, by the way, this one's broken. Every tile has 2. That one has 2. Every tile of sort, so like for instance up here it doesn't have a hole, but the bottom of that tile does have one. So I haven't put it in absolutely every single one. I very much, for instance, this one just has 1, this one has 2, this one has 2, 2, but that's because I know these are going to be the ones taking a lot of weight. Down here I have 2, 2, 2 because I know those are going to be the ones supporting a whole bunch of weight. These here, it is honestly, I just do 2 on each one. Corners, I always add holes and everything. And also keep in mind that I haven't added any J-plugs to any of this, and this is a plaster board wall. I have found that you can get away with a lot with just a screw into the wall, especially when you have it out in an array like that. You're putting the force across a large area when you're doing something like this. But if you're going to do just like 1 or 2 boards, I would suggest you like really go for it on that. So yeah, not that many screws. License. Okay, let's talk about license. First, oh God. Yeah, we're on the last half hour-ish. If we go over, we go over, but that's fine. So let's have a down-to-earth chat now. License. It was the hardest decision that I could possibly make because I didn't know what really to do, because I don't want to lock it into anything. I want it to be as open as possible, but I also want people to be able to make money from it and all the rest. So in the end, after a whole bunch of searching everywhere, I realized the only way to do this is to be my own custom license. And yes, absolutely, the license as it stands right this minute is a little bit ambiguous. I get that. So what I'm currently doing, literally, I sent an email 2 days ago, still haven't got a reply. I'm getting in contact with an IP attorney, and we're going to figure this out. We're going to make it as clear and concise as possible for everyone. But in the end of the day, I'm never going to put anything under a Creative Commons license, because that locks the project into that, and it is literally unrevocable. I want to express that again. Creative Commons licenses are unrevocable. So as soon as I were to add anything to that, we all lose a lot from it. I want Multiboard to be a way that makers can make money from. That's why there's the multi-partner tier. That's why I want to foster this sort of expansiveness to this project. So yeah, now I need to protect myself in some way, because what I would hate to happen is, I don't know, IKEA comes in and just straight up rips this completely and uses it commercially for themselves to sell everything in the world, and then does remixes that are just use the smallest, tiniest little bit of a component and then make an entire fortune out of that. And me and us as a community don't get anything back from that. I am not here to catch you out. I can tell you that right now. The last thing I am here is to catch you out. I'm here to catch out the bad actors. There are some really, honestly, just pain in the ass bad actors, especially when it comes to big companies, that are here to honestly just take advantage of us. So I want to make sure that we don't get taken advantage of. And I understand there is currently ambiguity and derivatives of the work. I'm not here to disallow remixes in any way, shape, or form, but what I'm here to semi-disallow is, hey, if you're going to make a remix, just be aware that where exactly is that for? Like, truly, if the remix is 100% your idea, it's 100% your idea. If it works with Multiboard, it's still your idea, and it's got nothing to do with the license of mine whatsoever. But even if you were to use a small amount of whatever to remix, then it goes into this weird ambiguous gray area that IP law has. And by the way, I've learned so much about IP law, and it is insane, and it is the most broken system out there. Just a little synopsis to let you understand IP law is, when people say copyright, that is purely just design. And I do mean purely aesthetics, not what it can do. If you ever want to lock down what it can do, that is a patent. And what I went with Multiboard is okay, I want to make sure nobody can ever patent this, because I could have patented it, but I would have had to have paid, God, something like $15,000, and then waited 4 years before I could launch out Multiboard. And I just didn't want that. So I went, okay, what I'm going to do is defensive documentation. And I'm just going to whack out Multiboard for the masses. So then anybody who's going to try and patent anything like this, we can just say, hey, you can't stop me. I put all of this out this date here with this video and all of this and this entire community, so you can't stop us making this. So yeah, patents is how you stop people making the same functionality. Copyright is the exact same look as it. Trademark is a little bit different, and it is all such a horrible gray area, and it's so broken, so entirely broken. But anyway, so design-wise, honestly, there's actually an entire chat already in the feedback and suggestions, I think. And that there, I'm going to carry on posting into that channel. I haven't replied right this minute, but I know there you're saying clause 5 seems a bit ambiguous. Derivatives of the work of the design, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, what I mean is distribute. You cannot distribute any of like don't go ahead and just literally put the exact same file of this up on Cult 3D, for instance. It would, like that's what I'm trying to stop. Don't just straight up get the original file and upload that, because there are bad actors that are going to do that. So I'm not stopping remixes at all. That's what one of the big ones here. But also, I said this earlier on, right this minute, before you do remixes, take a look, multiboard, part library, remixes. There's a big caveat there if you're doing remixes, because it might break compatibility down the line, and I don't want you to waste your efforts. Okay, I'm going to carry on, try and get through these quickly. So yeah, the big license thing here was I'm basically going to get an attorney for us to sort this out and make it as clear as possible. And also, just in case you're wondering as well, when it comes to remixes, the share alike clause means that it doesn't really matter what license you put onto it. If it shares something within, or a lot, especially a lot, like at the end of the day, we're talking court law shit here, which is if a jury can be like, well, no, I can see how that's a different thing, then it doesn't hold up, straight up. The license just doesn't hold up. But if it's, you get this, you just pull it up and do a tiny little thing to it, that's a little bit different. I'm also not discouraging that. Again, I'm here to catch out the big people that are going to be bad actors, not the small makers or even multi-partners. I don't want to catch out multi-partners as well. And I want multi-partners to feel safe when they're selling stuff. Because the problem with a whole bunch of remixes is everyone is putting CC 4.0, non-commercial, share alike, all of that good stuff. For instance, the Gridfinity license. And you cannot sell that legally. And I just want to make sure that everyone can profit in some way. And yes, if you're making a remix and it's a remix of a part and then you're wanting to sell it, you technically do need a multi-partner license. And a multi-partner cannot sell your remix without your approval first. And that's why you're going to see me, if there's a whole bunch of remixes that are awesome ideas, I will remake them in the style that I feel best fits multiboard. So then a multi-partner can use that remix without having to ask the remix owner provider, because that's unfortunately just the intricacies and complications of licensing. It sucks so much, but I'm wanting to make it as clear as possible, and I'm working on that actively right now. All right. My poor throat. Let me carry on. If you're wondering, I think someone down here, off topic, AirPods, but do you have a favorite flavor? I'm currently on coconut, and it's quite nice. I find coconut to be very, very strong. I find the iced tea to be very good. And if you have no idea what AirUp is, I wish I had a sponsored link. There are these little capsules here. They just have scent. And you put that on here, and then when you suck on it, scent bubbles go in there and fool your brain that you have some sort of like flavored-ish water. Don't make you think that it's a lot of flavor, but some of them have quite a bit of flavor. But yeah, I like coconut here. And yeah, so let me just carry on going down. 6.5 to 6.4. Yeah, that's what I meant. Great deal, but oh god, it jumped again. Let me just scroll up. Any other questions coming up here? We have a question here. Mr. Junior Question, is there more than one multi-tool? The one I downloaded really needs to be beefed up. Yes, there is another one. If you go into, there is the bolt gripper, which is under the parts library. Go to bolt, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there's basically a bolt gripper. And that one lets you grip bolts and turn them. Now, if you have another place that you find the multi-tool is lacking, let me know exactly where that is. I've tried to bulk up everywhere that it needs to be. I think the main thing that is breaking here is when people are using it on bolts. So the bolt gripper still is around. That is under the bolts. Go all the way down to the bottom, and there's another tool down there. Let me carry on. What size screws do you use? The size screws that I use there. Do I have it? Let me see. No, that's not the screws. I use very, very big screws because I do a lot of woodworking. So I have, well, I used to do a lot of woodworking. So I have some very big screws. Let's see. Are they here? Where are they? Oh. I can't find the box, but this is the size, which is it is 60mm screws that I use. 60mm self-screwing wood screws is what I use. And then I don't just put those straight into the wall. I do. I just put those straight into the wall. But what I usually do is, I use these. A J plug. I screw that into the wall, and then I use this, and then I screw that in. And because these are too long, then they push out that metal part off to the side, and then I get a really, really, really strong connection. I've been able to put an incredible amount of weight onto these. So yeah, that's what I use screw-wise. Let me carry on going down. Basic. I'm just going down. Enjoy your coffee, tea, and energy drinks. Thank you, Nico B. CC permits commercial, blah, blah, blah. We got right. I think that's all the questions in the live chat. If I've missed any, feel free to whack them back down at the bottom of the chat so I can take a look at it. Okay, so let's go down. Question. Why is my printer not printing the 4x4 boards? I was hoping to make a mini kit to experiment with. I haven't gotten to other models yet, but the non-multiboard models still printing. I'm sorry, but that question doesn't answer anything. Why is my printer not printing the 4x4 boards? Without images, I cannot see what's going on there. Question, melt this together in Blender, cylindrical tile. Oh! Yeah, you can definitely make a cylindrical, if that's what you meant, Maker Bees. A planter sort of in the middle would be a custom arrangement. Yeah, what I would, actually, you know what? Something that will come real soon-ish. I say real soon. It will be as soon as I can make it happen, is the joints. I want to create a whole bunch of brackets that are also going to be hinges. So those hinges will let you make a cylinder real quick with it. But yeah, you can really make anything with multiboard. Something that, actually, I don't know if I want to say this. No, I do want to say it, but I am currently thinking, there's a thought process in here of how I'm going to be making flexible multiboards. And that means you'll be able to print out a board, and then that board will actually be able to like warp all the way around. It will be good fun if I can get it to work. And if I can't get that to work, then it'll be the hinges. And if I can't get the hinges to work, then it's going to be small connection points. But we'll get to that one. There's a lot going on there. Right. What was, let's see. So yeah, I think I just answered your question, Maker Bees. You can definitely do that, especially in Blender. And in fact, if you hit me up on Discord, I can just, well, it's pretty easy with that there. You're just basically going to get the two faces and make them do a face-to-face bridge, face bridge, and you can go like that. But the truth is that if you're going to be printing that way, it's not going to work quite like you would expect. So your best bet is going to be hinges of some sort to work with that. So yeah, I hope that works. Okay, I'll carry on going down here. Question, posted picture. Awesome question. How many parts and accessories are you up to total, and are they easy to scale up in dimensions of 2x and down? So currently, if you want to see the current number of whatever there is, the multiboard, if you go to multiboard.io, that very first section that says multiboard has X amount of parts, that is a live number. That number changes. I think currently we're at 710. Someone can check that. I don't know. Maybe Blue Cube has already updated that because we've added a whole bunch of tiles, but I don't know if the tiles coming out today or tomorrow. But yeah, there's 710 different individual parts, and I have not played around with scaling at all. Now, yes, technically, now this is a big asterisk. This is untested territory. I am not going to test it because I've already done too much testing. Functionally, a little bit of scaling should work. Now the problem comes when things like snaps. Scaling a snap down, you're screwed because the snaps themselves, they're made for that layer line on the actual snap bit. And then if you screw it up, expect snaps to be a lot more harder because there's going to be more layer lines right there holding that snap together. So you can technically scale it, but I wouldn't suggest it because I'm not making things for any other scale except for the scale that I'm providing. You can, by all means, play around with it. You can make yourself a micro multiboard, but it's not what I'm not intending to make anything smaller, and I'm not intending to make anything bigger either. I'm pretty happy where we are. Okay, other questions? I think that's it. I think that's question one. Questions. Why no $1 Patreon level when no perks of those? That's just want to support the project. Why is there no $1 Patreon level? There is no $1 Patreon level for a multitude of reasons. Put frankly, we're going to get into a little bit of... Put frankly is put it this way. Low-paying tiers on any platform out there in the world is the worst thing you could possibly do for a maker, for any content creator, and for the planet itself. Every single payment transaction through a card is, God, I don't know, it's some little amount of carbon that gets put out, and the offset of that payment is just not worth it for me. I get it. I love support. And honestly, if $1 is all you're able to give, then by all means, I don't want to make people stretch that is the only way they can give. There is one-time donations that I'll be adding to the actual multiboard as well. But right this minute, it's over at makertales.com, my old name. But yeah, there isn't lower than what there is right this minute, mainly because, yeah, that really. And also, then when it actually comes to the expenses, I have to pay extra for lower tiers. Like the payment, if someone pays $1, a $1 tier, I actually have to pay a higher transaction fee and a higher cost on that. And in the end, all I get of that $1 is like 30 cents. So is that really worth it? It is worth it, but I just appreciate the support. Comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. That I appreciate that just as much. Just being part of the community, I appreciate that. So yeah, that's the main things. Fees are crazy when it comes to very small tiers. Like in fact, on Thangs, by the way, Thangs has been amazing. They at least just straight up tell people, hey, look, we tell you that if you're going to do less than a $10 tier, you're going to have to pay $5 a month, and this is the other cost of it. And if you're doing less than a $5 tier, you're going to have to pay $30 a month on top of that, and this is the other cost of it. They are very transparent, and they've made it as clear as possible. On the other hand, most other platforms don't tell you that. They just take it, and it's part of their clause. So yeah, that's why there isn't a smaller tiers. Okay, let's see if there are any other questions. Joe K, I think you just put a question here, didn't you? Can users contribute to the Knowledge Hub? Maybe with some examples or illustrations? Absolutely. So something that I would love to do is almost make like a bounty board for images of what we're looking for, example images of XYZ, because mainly that's what we're needing. If you want to give images, I'm more than happy to make a channel on Discord to share images there that you're just like, hey, look, any images shared in this channel, I'm already giving you full permission to basically own the IP of that image so that you can use it on the website. And I can also tell other people, i.e. the multi-partners, that, hey, when you're selling Multiboard, any images here, you can use those too. Right this minute, I've told multi-partners that any image that is on Multiboard and isn't my image is going to have the credit of somebody. And then if you want to use that image, you have to ask the permission from that person. But all the images on Multiboard currently multi-partners can use. So yeah, that's that. I love the idea of bringing people in to help with the Knowledge Hub. I'm currently playing with the thought of doing a public wiki, but the real tricky thing when it comes to the public wiki is there are a lot of things inside of Multiboard that the community as a whole have not realized yet. And if I were to just say, hey, you guys make the wiki, I feel it's doing two things. It's doing a disservice to you, because obviously I feel like I should provide that. But also the other thing is that you're not going to find all the really little details that I've put into designing. Like there is a lot of little teeny tiny details that have gone in to the overall design of things. And one of the best people to tell you this would be actually Stella. Like Stella helped me with making a whole bunch of the step files, because dusting off my Fusion skills, I might have been able to, but they still needed a lot of help. And in that process, Stella had to really deeply understand the design of and all the things that were going on and what brought the final design into fruition. And it was just sort of like oh, you did it that way because, and that, and that, and that, and that. So I'm scared making a public wiki that someone's going to contribute something and I'm going to have to say no, because it doesn't actually have the things in place, or it completely miss the point of something. So yeah, I'm playing with it and I'm still thinking about it. Absolutely. There's also a small part of me that thinks like, why not have both? But I don't know. It's a tricky one and I'm still going to think on it. And I think it's actually, no, it is. It's a topic in the oh God, what's it called? The feedback and suggestions there on the documentation. There's a channel there that says lack of documentation and they're talking about wikis there. So I'm still thinking about it, but yeah, there's still things that aren't fully learnt. And the truth is, there's still so much more to Multiboard coming out. Like, there's actually another entire system that I'm working, subsystem, you know, multigrid is a subsystem inside of Multiboard. There's an entire another subsystem that I am thinking of, and I'm not going to say much more about it, that I have had planned for, what, 3 months now? So, yeah. That's sort of it. That's where we are on there. Okay, let's see. Any other questions, people? Because I'm more than happy to, like, I'm truly an open book, so hit me up with it. Dun dun dun. No audio. There's no audio. Has the audio disappeared, everyone? Because I don't think so. Audio's still good on your side. Thanks, Stella. So yeah, I think we might be there, you know? That was 2 hours of just talking and I didn't update my board at all. Oh yeah. Oh, let me just show you something. These are all the updates, by the way, to the mounts back there. Ooh. And what I want to show you is this here. This is a little tool that I asked Stella to just quickly develop up because she was the one that made the actual click out tool, the injecty thing. And while I was trying to remove the old ones, I was just using that one to just go in and rip out. So this is the like aggressive rip out tool. And this will come out like pretty much today or tomorrow or some point in the next few days. Oi! Oh goodness, I'm a bit stiff. And you basically go to one of these and you just rip it out. So then you're going to be able to just quickly change things up. And I was hoping I was going to do all that today because I've got all the updates here. But I'm not going to be doing that today, it seems, because we had a lot of questions. So if you have any other questions, let me know. And if not, that's been a very full-on conversation. My poor throat is a little bit sore. Right, let's go for it. Any other questions, people? Truly, I am an open book. If there's anything you want to ask away. There are no limits. I am, by the way, there's a good chance that I'm going to be on a podcast, which is going to be on the 20-something of February, and I'll let you guys know about that. It's going to be with the next layer. So there's going to be a podcast on there, so that's going to be awesome to hear you guys there. And there's a big pause button. Why is there a pause button? So yeah, I think we're good. What other things would you like to know? I'm here for whatever there is. Let me see if there's any questions as well that got asked without a question in front of them. I'll just look for a question mark, I guess. Dun, 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 dun. I've seen. Thank you. 3D for all. Your system is the best I've seen. Thank you. That really means a lot. What is the best material to print these with? Personally, I'm going to tell you PLA+. Other people are going to tell you PETG. If you're going to be in extreme cold or extreme heat, PETG. ABS, I've heard, has a problem with sagging. So, yeah. So it's up to you on that one. Let me see. Are there any other questions? I think we're good. My poor throat hurts a bit. Sneak peek. Question. Sneak peek of the next YouTube video. Sneak peek of the next YouTube video? I work on a day-by-day basis. That's actually the truth. The truth is I really do work a lot on a day-by-day basis. The reason why there's a live stream is because there's just so much going on behind the scenes. Like this entire tile update has been a lot of work. So I haven't been able to put in any time to really make a YouTube video. YouTube video wise, I'm thinking pretty soon we're gonna do something. Well, what's gonna happen is pretty soon we're gonna have a big multi-grid update, and then after that multi-grid update, we will have some sort of pack like this. One a lot more refined, one that actually works, one that brings in all the elements that are going to be around about the place. So let's see, let me go down. Anything else? Questions? Okay, there's 2 questions here. Questions. I heard Bamboo is very proprietary. Does your files play nice with Bamboo Studio? Yes. It works very, every single thing that you're seeing here was first print tested through a Bamboo X1. I can tell you that right now. So yeah, it is definitely worth it. Question, do you have a Bamboo slicer profile to share? Anything to help speed up prints? No. God, this speed printing, I understand that it takes time, and I completely, hands down, get it. It takes time. But I'm using literally Bamboo generic PLA setting. That is what I do. And yes, it takes time, but you know it's going to be strong, and you know it's going to hold up. However, in the Multiboard Slicer channel, there have been leaps and bounds talking about speed in there. Now, I'm never going to go for speed. I'm always going to go for functionality rather than speed. And for me, strength is a massive thing. One of the key things of Multiboard was pretty much just making it as strong as possible so that people can use it for anything they want. One of the things I actually wanted to do for the Multiboard launch video was have a multiboard and use it as a seat. That's how strong I think Multiboard is. Especially when you're using a collection of mounts, it's going to hold a lot of weight. Let's see, any other questions? Questions. I have been looking and cannot find the bulk gripper. Any help locating it? Yeah, just hit me up over on Discord and I'll show you. It is definitely in the Multiboard part library all the way down at the bottom. Multiboard bolts all the way down at the bottom. It's sort of just like a big ring. But I have a job to do, but watching this live stream. Is it safe to say that grids aren't changing anytime soon? Grids, what do you mean by grids aren't changing anytime soon? If we're talking about the multi-boards, no, they literally change, they're literally changing right now. They're not going to be changes that you're going to really notice. The main change is that the thread inside of the multiboard isn't, so the thread orientation used to be like this and like that. Now the beginning of the thread is like this and like that, so that tiles are basically, if you had, it means that all the tiles, the thread will start the same way. So if you had a side tile here and you were to put it up there, all you have to do is flip that tile, and then that tile would be the exact same thread orientation. It's because I did not design the tiles to have the thread. If you go over, again, multiboard, part library, and then go to remixes, and inside of that remix section, there is the status, design status flow, and you'll be able to see where every single part is in multiboard and like how, I don't know, volatile it is. The truth is I'm not planning on making any other real compatibility breaking updates. The only reason why there was a compatibility breaking update with these was because I saw that it was a massive frustration, and I do not want there to be frustration in the community when the reality is there is a solution, a better design. So there you have it, a better design, make it happen. So if I hear there's problems, I will make solutions. It's as it goes. Right, let's see. I think that's it. We're at 6 o'clock for me, and my throat is hurting. And oh, hold on. Question. Let me see the feet on the board you picked up. That is the go look it up on Mounting Solutions. That is the, goodness me, I always forget the name of it. That is the freestanding feet. They are good fun. I also cover it in the getting started video of Multiboard. And yeah, there's still so much to cover here, but I think we're good. I think that's it for now. I think, is everybody happy? Does anybody have any other burning questions right now? Because yeah, that I don't think there are any other burning questions. I think we're good. I'm waiting to see if there's anything else. I'm happy to answer anything and everything. So yeah, let's see. I'm just holding up because I know there's a delay when it comes to YouTube and the comments and all the rest. So great system. Thanks for all your work. Thanks, man. LED lighting mounts. That's definitely coming. Just trust me, that is definitely coming. Printer set. All right. Awesome. Let's see. I'm gonna move my mouse to my other screen and try and find the YouTube stuff. Where is it? Where? Oh goodness. There's my mouse. It is so tiny. The screen is so far away. There's the live stream button. There's the button to end the stream, but I have my mouse over it just because I'm going to wait for a little bit more, just to see if there's any other questions. Really excited for the effort. Maybe in the EU I can be a seat. Amazing work. Thank you. All the efforts instead of adding so much questions. How come only one guy on two put the thumbs up? Questions. How come only one guy on two have put thumbs up? No idea what that means. Yeah, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Question. Have you tested weight bearing capacity? Yes, I've tested a lot of weight bearing capacity. A lot of weight bearing capacity. However, I'm not going to tell you. Well, I'll tell you, look, put frankly, every single printer and every single filament is going to be a different capacity. All I can say is that when I'm pulling on the pegboard hooks, I've got everything from 18 to 36 kilos before something breaks. On the snaps, I've got everything from 2 to 4 kilos. On the directional snap, I've got as much as 16 kilos. On the thread, I've got as much as 20 kilos. On the middle thread, I've got, again, it doesn't go much further because it's on a snap. But yeah, we're talking decent amount of weights across the board, that's for sure. Okay, let me carry on. How come on a better question? Search multiboard for the fans and you'll find the ball grip wrench. Awesome. All right, awesome. I think that's us, everyone. It's been a pleasure, as always. It's awesome to have everyone here. And I've lost my mouse once again. because I've got the glare on my screen over in the distance there. I should really make my mouse a lot bigger when I'm doing this. I've got to find my mouse. It is like 5 meters away. There we go. Moving my mouse to the sign out button. I'm going to end the stream, everyone. Everyone, yeah. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, tell your family, friends, uncles, cousins, pets about Multiboard. Let's make this blow up. There's a lot coming. So buckle up, because we truly are just at the start of this, and you guys have been such a help. And yeah, any other questions? I'm sure I'll do another live stream at some point. And I'll talk to you all later. All right. Toodles.